I can't believe I'm talking about this.
Kind of felt like something cold-blooded stabbed me. The streets are playing with my mind. I'm losing everything in sight. Time stands still as we go blind. We're losing everything. Streets are playing.
Oh gosh. Tell me if y'all like this setup, the setup of this, the formality of the video, because when I record, like, sometimes there's stuff on the screen. Anyway, I'm getting anxiety just thinking about this, because I already know what y'all are thinking. Y'all probably like, you are a messy ass gay guy. You are a typical gay guy. Because a lot of gay guys do this, and I'm not, how would I say this? I'm not condoning this, and not only that, but at the same time, you know, the story seems worse than what it really is. But let me just get into the story because it's a story time. So this story is about how I slept with my friend's husband. I know it sounds worse than what it really is, okay? But let me just get into details. So pretty much in high school, I wouldn't say I was popular, but I would say a lot of people knew who I was. You know, I was known in that sense. And so, with that being said, you know, if you're gay, if you're a gay guy, if you're knowingly, I mean, if you're openly gay, especially back in this time, like 2011, 2010 time frame, you know that you would get hit up a lot by a lot of straight guys, or a lot of closeted guys that were not openly gay, but either were curious or were gay. They just didn't have the nerve or the guts to say that they were openly gay. So with that being said, pretty much if you're gay openly, you would get DMs from straight guys asking to hook up. And I don't know, I mean, at least that's just the way it was with me. And back in that time, you know, I was a lot younger than what I was now. I was maybe like 17, 16. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And a lot of the times I wouldn't even move forward with messing around with these guys, because something about me just being a secret, or something about them just wanting to use me, just didn't fly with me. And ever since then, I really was not into the whole hooking up with straight men. It's just, I wasn't into that, you know. I know a lot of gay guys are into that, and it's unfortunate, but I just personally don't even do it till this day. And if I do it, it's because if I am sexually active with a guy in general, it's gonna be because he's gay. And if he isn't, if he's closeted, it's because he didn't tell me, you know. But anyway, always get DMs from closeted guys asking to hang out, this and that, whatever. So we're gonna call this guy Goofy, because what he did was fucking goofy as fuck. Anyway, so I've known this guy named Goofy since I was in high school. Like, I'm talking about like right when I had transferred high schools. So when I transferred to this particular high school, I'm not gonna say the high school name because I don't want people to know who I'm talking about, if anyone decides to watch this video. And when I transferred junior year. So I had lots of friends. I had a lot of girlfriends. I had a lot of guy friends that were straight. I had a couple of friends that were gay. And this particular guy named Goofy, I was one of his friends. And I knew him because at the time he was trying to get at one of my other friends that I was friends with. And it really didn't work out for whatever reason. However, you know, with that being said, you know, that's how I knew him. Laura, even though that's not her name. Laura, I was friends with as well in high school. and none of them between Goofy and Laura, they were not associated whatsoever. So in high school back in that time, they did not know each other. However, Goofy had a crush on Laura, but they weren't really like friends like that, you know. However, I did know both of them. So throughout high school years, a lot of people would say, you know, or question if Goofy was gay or not, and I didn't know, and I didn't care to, because he was just my friend, and I wasn't trying to get in his pants, and I don't think he was trying to get in my pants either. We were just friends like that. Long story short, we graduate, and you know, we're all doing our own thing. I still talk to Laura here and there, and then I still talk to Goofy here and there. And Goofy was really into cars, and he still is, you know, and I was really into cars, and I still am. So somehow we were messaging, and we're like, bet, like, let's hang out, let's go, like, I think we would do this thing where we would like go like hang out, we would chill, we would go eat, we would go wash our cars, because I'm the kind of gay guy that, you know, being gay is such a small aspect of me. You know, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be a whole entire lifestyle where, you know, I can't hang out with straight men because they're uncomfortable. Because I never hit on straight men. You know, and a lot of the times, you know, it works out that way. It works perfectly because you can still hang out with me, we can still chill, and we may have a lot in common, but the sexual boundary, like, there's literally nothing sexual. And not only that, you know, I have to be attracted to you to sexually want you, but even if I was attracted to you, or said you were cute, or whatever the case may be, there is a boundary and there is a form of respect that we both have for each other, to where we don't cross that line, or I don't cross that line because he's straight, you know. So anyway, years pass on after high school. I want to say maybe like 2 years, and we would hang out here and there. I told you we would chill, we would go wash our cars, we would go eat, stuff like that. Never, like, it literally was never anything sexual, never. So as time goes on, you know, maybe like another year and a half passed, and Goofy would start messaging me like randomly at random times at night, and I'm like, why are you messaging me? What am I doing at 2 a.m.? You know what I mean? And if we all know what a 2 a.m. text means, but when you're a gay guy and you're getting it from a straight guy, you don't want to all of a sudden assume that he wants to get at you, or you don't want to assume that he wants, like, to mess around, you know. At least I don't. So he would randomly text me here and there, and a lot of the times I would just be coming home from the bar or whatnot, and I sometimes wouldn't text, or if I did text, I would say I'm like on my way home from the bar. So one day, you know, I get a text from him, and he's like, hey, what are you doing? And this time I had left the bar a little bit earlier. So I kind of didn't want to go home. And so when he texted me, I was like, oh, you know, I just left the bar, I'm on my way back home, what's up? And he was like, hey, you should come over, we should chill, whatever, let's smoke, whatnot. And I'm like, okay, bet, like, I'm down, you know, because we had chilled many times before and I didn't think anything of it. So I get to the place or whatever, and I just want to let you know, I'm not going to go in great detail about what happened, because I'm very personal in that sense, and I just think it's a little bit inappropriate. However, we hang out, we're talking, whatever, we're smoking. One thing leads to another, and we start making out. Now, honestly, I did not make the first move. I promise you, I did not make the first move. However, you know, one thing led to another. I'm already drunk, you know, like highly tipsy. Anyway, we started making out, and one thing led to another, and we messed around. And I remember it being like, once it was like done, I was like, oh my god, what the hell did I just do? Like, this is Goofy, like, he's my friend, and I would have never expected that from him, but like, everything had happened so fast, and honestly, it kind of weirded me out, but I was like, whatever, like, we messed around, let's just get over it. Couple days went by, weeks went by. He was telling me like, no, I don't know why I did that, you know, I love women, the typical bullshit that these type of men pull. And I'm like, honestly, dude, I could care less. Like, you did what you did and I did what I did and I moved on. Like, I'm not the type of gay guy to fall in love with you just because we messed around. And you know, at the end of the day, I didn't care. I moved on and I honestly, I forgot about it. So Laura comes in the picture maybe like 3 months later. And so she's like, well, hey, what are you doing? Like, how you been? And I'm like, I've been doing good or whatever. And she's like, oh, well, you know, I'm going to end up moving soon. I ended up meeting a guy and, you know, we're going to end up moving. You know, I'm not going to say the reason why they're moving because then that may give it away too. But regardless, they end up moving. So she was like, let's hang out before I end up leaving or whatever. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I haven't seen you in years. And honestly, at that point, I was already starting to date someone myself. So we kind of had the same similar situation where our men, where her man, Goofy, and my man, were going to end up leaving. So we connected in that way, you know. Anyway, long story short, you know, we're talking, we're eating, and we went to like this Chinese restaurant. We were just catching up with a lot of things. She's talking about her guy, I'm talking about my guy. Anyway, so nonetheless, she's like, you want to get some coffee? And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. We had ended up finished eating. We were like, let's go get coffee. So we ended up meeting at the coffee shop. And I get in her car and we're drinking or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Let me show you my this guy, the guy I'm talking to. And she's like, okay. So she shows me and she's like, oh my god, y'all are so cute together, this and that. And I'm just like so in love at that time. Tell me your guy, like you haven't showed me him. And she's like, well, he went to school with us. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, you may know him, you may not know him. Which I guess at that point she forgot that I knew him. Hold on, I need to me him. And it's Goofy. It's freaking Goofy! I can't believe it that I ended up messing around with this guy that she's falling for, that's leaving. I couldn't even, she was so happy, you know, with meeting him, and she was so happy with him that, you know, how could I tell her that I messed around with him? Because then that's gonna initially say that he's gay or curious or whatever the case may be, however which way she may have taken it. It would have ruined, I felt, their situation, and I didn't want to be the reason why it was ruined. And people never understand that, you know, when you're put in this kind of predicament, you're put in a really tough place because you do want to tell them because you care about them, but then you don't want to tell them because you're gonna hurt them. And I don't know, I was just put in a really tough situation, and I never even said anything. And I just, you know, kind of was taken back and it kind of had to like leave real quick because I felt uncomfortable and I felt like I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to tell her, you know, and I didn't end up telling her anything. Long story short, you know, whenever I had messed around with Goofy, she wasn't talking to him at that time. When I messed around with him, they weren't talking. I think they had met maybe like a week later or 2 weeks later. I'm not too sure. I think that's how it worked out, which she really didn't. Thankfully, she was not with him when I messed around with him. So she didn't cheat. I mean, he didn't cheat on her. But it was just one of these where, you know, I ended up knowing them. I messed around with him, and then now he's carrying a secret, and then I know her. It's just a big ass mess. And honestly, guys, to this day, she still doesn't know. And I'm not gonna tell her because now they're married and they're very, very happy. And I just feel like if I was to say something, I should have said it then, not now, because it's clearly too late. And we're all human and we all make mistakes and we're all not perfect. And this literally happened like in 2015, so this was 5 years ago. So, you know, at that time at that time when they met, when they got married, I was 20, but when I messed around with Goofy, I think I was like 19. So I was really young. Right now I'm like what, 20, I'm 27 now. So can you just imagine when you're put in that situation and back in that time, we're all so young and we're all dumb, and you know, we're not expected to make good choices, or like, how do you say it, like the best decisions ever. And at time, and at that time, you don't even know what you're doing. You don't even know what's the best decision to make. And honestly, to be honest, it could have been very much that he was just curious, you know, because at the end of the day, he married her, he's with her, and they're happy. And I haven't talked to any of them, and I stay not talking to any of them because I just don't want to be put in that situation where I'm felt very uncomfortable and guilty because of what happened, even though they weren't together. But I still feel like, well, that's still kind of messed up, and I felt obligated. You know, there's times where I felt obligated, like, you know, I should have told her, but now it's like way too late for me to tell her. And at the end of the day, I also felt like there was a point in time when, you know, I felt like I didn't have a place to tell her, because if anyone was going to tell her, it should have been him, not me. And I shouldn't be the one that's stressing out about this when it should be him, you know? And at the end of the day, you know, we're not even close friends like that anymore. We hardly ever even talk. We actually don't even talk at all. It was so weird because at that time when we hung out, you know, we still hardly ever talked, you know, and I saw her passing time to time at the gym, and it was very like rare when I talked to her. And now after that time that we hung out, I have not talked to her since. So it's so weird how, you know, things happen in synchronicity, because, you know, I hadn't talked to her, you know, and I definitely don't talk to him. Like, we literally don't talk at all. And it's weird because he knew that she was my friend in high school. He did know that. So I always wondered, does he feel nervous, or does he feel like, wow, you know, there's a possibility that he can tell her? Or maybe he's already told her. I don't know, because I don't talk to her. But at the end of the day, you know, that was something real wild that happened to me. And I definitely wanted to have more of these sit down story times, because there's a lot of things that has happened to me that I feel, you know, are very entertaining. And I talk to my friends about these things all the time, and they're always like, literally, dude, you need to make a video, like, don't worry about looking bad or whatever, you know, it's entertainment and not everyone's perfect, just go out and make the video, you know. So at the end of the day, you know, that's something that I'm not proud of, even though I didn't have any control over what happened at all. Anyway, guys, I hope y'all guys enjoyed this story time. If y'all want more story times, let me know, and I'll be more than glad to make more sit down talks, more story times if y'all want, because, you know, being a gay guy is wild as it is, you know, and we all have stories to tell. Some of us may be proud of the things we talk about, and some of us, like myself, may not be proud of, because like I say, you know, I'm very closed knit with things that happen to me, and I don't like talking about them or putting them out there like that. So, you know, I'm just very selective about what I talk about and things I tell people. So anyway, guys, I'm telling this to the world. So I hope y'all guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and subscribe, like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I will definitely see y'all in another video. Thank y'all guys for tuning in. I'll talk to you later. Peace.
I'm losing everything inside.